The Special Investigating Unit has obtained a court order to freeze 2.7 million rand in a divorce settlement involving Tintswalo Chauke, the ex-wife of businessman Alfred Sigudla. The money is linked to land purchased from funds meant for community development. According to the SIU, Sigudla's company, the South African Youth Movement, received 23 million rand in funding from the Lotteries Commission for the construction of old age homes in KZN and the Free State. But a portion of the money was later used, reportedly, to purchase 2 luxury estate properties, one owned by Chauke. The SIU's preservation order, meanwhile, prohibits Chauke from withdrawing or transferring the funds until it completes its investigations. Let's unpack the story further with the SIU spokesperson, Kaizer Kganyago. A pleasure having you on. Thanks for joining us. These are not names that perhaps the public will know very well, but the issue certainly is known to the public. This issue of lotteries money meant for the benefit of the less fortunate going into the private pockets of certain individuals.
Definitely, and good afternoon, Michelle. Yeah, these are the people that were involved. If you remember some time ago, I think it was around about the funeral of Presley Kganyago. We issued a statement around this matter where we said that there was money paid to Mr. Sigudla, who was at the time even the spokesperson of the family of the Kganyago family, and we indicated that we have freezed his one of his properties in midstream. And therefore, later on, when we were continuing with this investigation, we realized that some of the money was used to buy a property also in Centurion. And we realized also that that property was then transferred as a settlement to the former wife when they were divorcing. And this piece of land that they had bought in Copperleaf was now transferred to the former wife. And then we then quickly went to the tribunal and said the money that was received, I think they paid about 2.5 million rand to the wife, or the former wife. And then we went against that transaction, and the tribunal then indicated to us that, gave us the order that the money must not be used until our proceedings are finalized.
Yeah, the SIU has really been doing a lot of work to recover the proceeds from beneficiaries of the NLC, National Lotteries Commission grant funding, Kaizer. This is one sum of money. So he received 23 million rand, and then a portion of that went into a private venture. But when you look at the Lotteries Commission overall and the money the SIU is trying to recover, where does that figure sit?
This is a small portion of the figure, but you'll also remember that we are dealing with many other transactions. I think the National Lottery Commission alone amounts to almost more than 50 transactions that were done, and with different amounts. You'll remember, if you go back to the house that we freezed of the former chairperson, that house was valued at more than 30 million rand. And then there were many other things that we did. There was a farm in Mpumalanga that we had to take back and we sold, and there were cars that were involved. Therefore, there is just a lot of money. We are still going to have a lot of work at the National Lottery Commission because there is a new proclamation now that is dealing with the procurement side, because the first part was dealing with grant funding only.
And the hope, of course, is that the money finally will go to where it was initially intended.
Yeah, that is something that we try all the time as the SIU to tell the public to say, and as far as we are concerned, the money that we collect, we're not taking it back to Treasury or to the Kara Fund. We take it back to the institution where the money was stolen from, and that money must then be used for what it was initially intended for. And that is something that we pride ourselves of, and we want service delivery to be done the way that it was supposed to be done once we have stopped those who have taken the money.
So, Kaizer, in the case of Sigudla, so he had this SA Youth Movement, a non-profit, right? And he received this 23 million rand from the National Lotteries Commission. I suppose the question becomes, who signed off on that money and who was holding him accountable for how it was being spent?
Yeah, most of the money that was done during that time with the grant funding, it was just collusion between a lot of officials within the National Lotteries Commission and the people that were involved. Therefore, no work was done, but the money was paid, and therefore this was done in almost all of the transactions that we did during that time. We clearly found the same modus operandi where there was collusion between the officials and the people that are involved. And most of those people either left or some of them were fired after a disciplinary process.
This does not mean, surely, that these are matters that can't be handed over to the National Prosecuting Authority.
We have already done so a while ago. Most of these transactions are with the National Prosecuting Authority because collusion is a criminal offense, and all of those things need to be taken up by the NPA. We will do our bit, and the NPA will do their bit on the other side. And the National Lottery Commission itself is doing their bit in terms of disciplining those that were involved who are still in the employ.
Let's hope so. Kaizer Kganyago, let me thank you for your time, the spokesperson for the Special Investigating Unit.